Yeah, Pinterest is an amazing platform. I love it. Not too many people seem to be using it for marketing, right? And that's so that I mean I understand that because I got started with Pinterest marketing and back then even I, as a long time marketer, I had no clue of how to use Pinterest for marketing.
Guys, can we all give a big internet moguls welcome to Priya?
Hi everyone. Hi. It's great to be on the call actually. Finally, so I finally after quite a few months of back and forth.
I know. It did take a bit of planning. Thank you for your patience and thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you too. Thank you for
Awesome.
inviting me. Hi
Not at all.
everyone. Hi guys.
So Priya,
Yeah.
Priya, we always say that the shortest distance between two human hearts is always a good story. You tell a genuine, heartfelt story to perfect strangers and you win hearts for life. We'd love for you to tell the audience your story.
Okay, so where do I start? I'm not going to start from where I was born, obviously. But I was okay. I was I grew up in Mumbai. Was born and brought up in Mumbai, and now I live in Pune. But I grew up in Mumbai all my life. Went to college there, and met my sweetheart there. Married him, and when I was in my 30s, he passed away. And then by that time, I had already got started with my internet business because I started it when my little one was when I was pregnant. Actually, that was in 1999, right? So I wanted to be a work-at-home mom or whatever. And back then there weren't too many options, right? 1999 was a long time ago when we still had dial-up internet. We didn't even
Right.
have broadband, like so we had to use dial-up and HTML pages and all, no blogs, nothing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was like really ancient stuff. So I got started there and I started my own website called Making India Green because I was an environmental journalist before that. And so I started a website. It got featured in Digit magazine, Chip magazine back then. And from there on, I went on to learn how to monetize, my internet love affair, with the internet, and
Sure.
started creating a lot of websites back then. Went from one thing to another. I mean, you go through a lot of transitions because back then things were changing, right? We had Alta Vista and Yahoo. We didn't even have Google until later, and then WordPress and all these things came up. And of course, you grow and learn along with the internet, and then started my own blogging agency where I offered blogging and SEO services to clients, content services to clients. And so I started managing their blogs and stuff like that. It's called Blog Brands, and it's still there, but I'm not managing it anymore because I had started this website called nari.com in 2006. And in 2000, in last year, in fact, 2020, during the COVID thing, when everything blew up like it, I sold it to a company called Shiro's. Shiro's is
Yeah.
a women-only networking site. And now I'm part of the Shiro's family. I'm the group editor and I manage the content, SEO, Pinterest, all that for them. So, and plus the Nari, and which is part of the Shiro's group now.
Wow, what a fantastic story. But it did have it does show its a fair bit of challenges. So tell us Priya, before I go ahead, are we going a presentation setting or are you okay with Q&A?
Yeah, I've got a presentation. So because
Okay.
I prefer presentations because then I can remember
Structure the flow.
stuff. Yeah, actually.
Let's
And
do it. So you go
yeah,
for it then. Let's begin with that.
okay.
Yes, we can
Am
see
I
your
sharing
screen.
my screen? No, I'm
Yes,
sharing
you
this.
are. Yes. Yes, content longevity on Pinterest.
Okay, so basically, I wanted to talk about Pinterest today because, but first, I'd like to see a share of hands and know how many people are actually on Pinterest. How many people are actually using Pinterest here. So, can you all just write P in the chat so that I know how many of you are using Pinterest? Okay, quite a few, not bad. I think a lot of women, but guys also too. Okay, so kind of wow, I'm preaching to the choir here. Yeah, Pinterest is an amazing platform. I love it. And so, what do you use Pinterest for? Is it, can you just type one word? Do you use it for planning or do you use it for marketing? Thanks, Sucheta. content ideas, surfing, research and planning, marketing, research. Yeah, everyone uses it for different things. I gave a Pinterest presentation to a group of wedding planners once, and they told me that people use Pinterest for planning their weddings and stuff. So that was an eye opener for me. Okay, beautiful images, creative inspiration, of course. Yeah, Pinterest is a beautiful site. Not too many people seem to be using it for marketing, right? And that's so that I mean, I understand that because I got started with Pinterest marketing in 2018, and back then even I, as a long time marketer, I had no clue of how to use Pinterest for marketing. But I realized that I was getting some traffic from Pinterest because people had kind of shared my content on Pinterest, even though I was not creating pins for it. So I said, okay, why not learn how to use this? And then I heard of people actually getting hundreds of thousands of visitors from Pinterest. And at that time, I had started a travel blog, and I wanted to really promote it because travel is a huge, huge, niche on Pinterest. Okay, it's a very popular niche on Pinterest. So, of course, right now, obviously, travel is not a big, not people are not traveling, but that doesn't mean travel is permanently, kind of gone on a hiatus. It's probably going to bounce back at some point of time. But I had started a travel blog a few years ago, and I wanted to learn how to increase my traffic from Pinterest. So I started learning how to do that, and I kind of really put a lot of effort into that, and I started getting traffic to the new blog from Pinterest, and that was my first source of traffic. Because, as you know, today, okay, so I think I've already covered this. Okay, Nari acquired by Shiros. Today we get about 160K views a month, and it's growing. And I'm the group editor of Pinterest. I'll talk about Shiros later. I'll come back to this slide later. So Pinterest is not social media. It's not a social media site. Okay, it's actually a visual discovery engine, or an image search engine, or a visual search engine. So basically, the things that apply on Google to some extent apply on Pinterest also. But Google SEO has become so tough today because it's, as everyone knows, it's really hard to get ranked on Google, especially for a new site, because your new site goes into the sandbox. If you have a brand new domain, it's going to take months for you to get traffic from Google. Okay, you will probably get a trickle of traffic, but not enough to monetize your site. However, Pinterest will give you traffic almost immediately if you start promoting it properly. So when I started out on Pinterest in 2018, and I built up the Nari.com Pinterest to about, now it's about 1 million monthly views. So I've been relatively successful with getting Pinterest traffic, although today the best time to have started on Pinterest was about 5 years ago, because people were getting really, really good results back then. It was like Google in the old days, where it was very easy to rank stuff. Today, there's a lot more competition. So traffic is kind of on the decline, but you can still get a decent amount of traffic to a new blog from Pinterest. There are certain differences between Google SEO versus Pinterest SEO. If you want to screenshot this, feel free to screenshot it and save it, because I won't go much into detail. All I can say is that Google SEO, it is more about text and long form authoritative content, and it takes months to rank a new blog post, right? While Pinterest SEO you can rank a pin. You can start getting traffic to a pin in minutes or hours. And the rankings for the same pin usually decrease over time, whereas rankings for the same URL on Google increase over time, improve over time, visibility, not necessarily rankings, but visibility. So on Google also, you have one URL targeting a single topic usually on your blog, while on Pinterest, you can create multiple pins, as many pins as you want for the same URL. And you can either share the pin on Pinterest itself, or you can embed it in your WordPress blog, which is what I recommend. So I wanted to also know how many people were using WordPress for their blogs. Just to open this thing. Yeah, okay, here's the chat. So can you just write W for WordPress? All those who are using WordPress for your blogs? Yeah, lots of W's. Right, okay, cool. Because as you know, and I'm sure Avi must have told you, that WordPress is the best CMS to use for anything online. The most flexible and very easy to update and everything. So Pinterest, if you are in the women domain, if you're selling anything to women, if you're in e-commerce, if you're in those kind of things, if you're in anything visual, like for instance, jewelry, art, all sorts of visual media, you should be on Pinterest. So India is the second largest market for Pinterest. So we have a lot of growth possibilities. And Pinterest is excellent for shopping because people actually go on Pinterest to shop, right? So those are not so important. I'll skip through them. The main thing about Pinterest is if you compare it to social media channels, the lifespan of Pinterest content is much longer than social channels. And pinners actively engage with pins months after it is uploaded to the site. So if you see this graphic from Smart Brief, it shows you, I'm sorry, this is very light. Can you see that gray line for Pinterest? Just say yes, okay, cool. Okay, so if you see the content lifespan on the major social networks, Pinterest is not a social network. I really wouldn't categorize it as one, but since they've done that here, Pinterest content lasts for much longer than even 3.5 months in my experience. Pins that I've shared last year is also still bringing traffic to me, so it can continue for very long. Pins that rank well, they can continue for very long. Pinterest content is usually evergreen. It never gets buried in the newsfeed like other social media channels. And people interact with your pins months and even years, as I can attest, after you've uploaded it on Pinterest. But you have to create the right kind of pins, right? They have to be vertical images, a 2:3 aspect ratio. That's very important. And videos are also very well. They do well on Pinterest, especially for branding. I wouldn't recommend videos for click-throughs so much or traffic. It's better for branding. Your images must be visually appealing, okay? You should have text overlays on your pins to tell people what it's about. Have a brand logo, and your pin description should be optimized with keywords and hashtags and less than 500 characters, but ideally 200 to 300 characters. So here are some of the pins that I created for Shiro's. So basically, as you can see, they're attractive images with the text overlay and logo and stuff. And you can either upload your pin to Pinterest, or you can embed the pin, in your WordPress site, which I highly recommend, because then people can share the pin from your website. And there are a lot of mistakes people make on Pinterest, like using the wrong alt tag. They put their description, they put the pin description in the alt tag, which is not the purpose of the alt tag. So your pin description should be separate from your alt tag. They also don't write a good pin description. They don't write it, a descriptive one that people will want to click through. It's like a meta tag. It's like a description meta tag. They also use the wrong image aspect ratio. Never use horizontal images, and don't share horizontal videos. Make them vertical, because that works best on Pinterest. Also create multiple pins for each URL or from your blog. Okay, if you create multiple pins, you have more chances of going viral. You have more chance of people sharing your pins. You can test out different pins, see which ones are working better. And you have to have a Pinterest share button on your blog. Like on Nari, I use only the Pinterest share button. I don't add any other any other share buttons, although you can share to other sites. But I highlight only the Pinterest shares on Nari. So what works on Pinterest in 2021 is fresh pins, image pins for traffic, video pins for branding, and content seasonality. Because on Pinterest, people celebrate seasonality like Halloween and Christmas and gifts, and all those things are very big. Anything to do with e-commerce, gifting and stuff like that. So if you can write content around like gift guides or traffic gear, those kind of things really do well. Also, Pinterest keywords are not the same as Google keywords. You have to use the Pinterest search bar, or you can use the Pinterest advertising options to check Pinterest keywords, because people type in keywords into Pinterest for a very different reason that they type in Google, because they are searching for, the search intent is very different. Pinterest SEO, create Pinterest boards based on topics and themes. Use your keywords in the boards and descriptions. Use keywords in pin descriptions as well. and repin your pins only to relevant boards, not to non-relevant boards, just like Google
Priya,
has.
Priya, can you just 1 minute explain to us what because this is a very important topic
Yeah.
on search intent, because
Yes,
that's
search.
what leads to immediate or delayed buying decisions. So if you could
Absolutely.
please elaborate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. So search intent, let me give you an example. Suppose I'm searching for shoes. Okay. So if I type in shoes into Google, if I just type in the root keyword shoes, now I might just be searching to see what kind of shoes are available or what kind of shoes Google is showing me. But if I type in shoes for women, or a certain brand name of shoes for women, then I'm actually researching shoes, right? When I type in shoes just to research, just to talk about shoes or whatever, or I'm not looking at shoes necessarily, I'm reading up about shoes. Maybe I'm looking at the history of shoes with the root keyword. So when I type in, for instance, give me a brand of shoes. Maybe you can think of a brand. I'm not a shoe person, so I use very basic stuff. So say Bata. Okay, so if I'm typing in Bata shoes, that means I'm actually researching Bata shoes because I might be wanting to buy Bata shoes. I might be wanting to see what kind of Bata shoes are available. So my intent when I type in Bata shoes is very different from when I type in the root keyword shoes. Then if I type in buy Bata shoes size so and so, I'm actually looking to buy a certain size of shoes and a certain brand of shoes. So my intent when I type in the last long tail keyword is very different from when I'm typing in the first two types of keywords, right? Those are the root keywords and those are the high traffic keywords. So basically, you have to use the keywords in your content, or your pin or your blog post that you want people to convert to. So if you're selling shoes, for instance, you're featuring different types of shoes in your blog post, okay, and you're selling, like you're an affiliate marketer, you want to feature different types of shoes from Amazon. Then you would probably write more keywords, in terms the long tail keywords like buy so and so keywords, or if it's not shoes, it could be iPhone, or it could be different phone brands, and you're writing a review on phone brands, and then you want people to actually buy them from your site, through your affiliate link. So you have to use the keywords that make sense according to what action you want your user to take. So you want to attract buyers, then you have to use more the long tail keywords for buyers. If you're just writing an article on the history of shoes, then of course you just want people to find it who are typing in very generic keywords or root keywords into Google, right? So does that explain it enough, Avi? Uh,
Yes, absolutely. I
you're-
totally understand. And we will elaborate on this a little bit at the end as well.
Yeah,
Thank
Nike.
you.
Someone said Nike. Right. Yeah, I was thinking of Bata because I live in India. So, yes, I hope you all have understood that. Did you all understand? Just put a Y if you all understood what search intent means. Yeah. So it's not that hard to understand. Basically, it's the intent with which a person types in a keyword, and all of you all shop online, so you all know what that means, right? So but in Pinterest SEO, like I said, Pinterest keywords are different from what people type into Google, because on Pinterest, they are basically maybe looking to find ideas, right? And they're not necessarily maybe not immediately looking to buy. Sometimes they are looking to buy, sometimes they're not. But if they're looking for ideas, they just want like wedding ideas or certain, kind of design or patterns or something. They'll type in something generic, home decor, things like that, and then they'll want to save it to their own Pinterest boards because they want to use those ideas later on. So Pinterest has a slightly different search intent in terms of keywords. So these are the kind of Pinterest boards you can create. As you can see, there are keywords in the Pinterest boards. You can create multiple boards for around the same topic, like career advice, career guidance, career tips, and then save the same pin to multiple boards because you want to get more shares, of course, to your pin. So how does Pinterest show, make your pin visible to people who are searching? Everything about the pin matters: the image, the copy, the link, the text or overlay, and even the board that you share the pin, that sends signals to Pinterest about how and where it should surface the pin. for people who are searching for that keyword, right? And there are different types of pins. There's a standard image pin, video pins, shopping pins, they are rich pins. Shopping pins are rich pins with product info, and you can actually add the price if you add the correct tags, the meta tags in your rich pins. Then you can also have pins for app installs, carousels. Now they also have idea pins. They have a bunch of new, they keep coming out with new options all the time. Story pins now are available also. Rich pins, as you can see, for e-commerce will show you the price, and they will also show you some description. So for e-commerce sites, Pinterest is really important because people actually go to Pinterest to shop, or at least to get ideas, and then they will click on that and save it to their board and perhaps buy it later. So here are some tips for increasing your Pinterest conversions. Conversions means click-throughs, people clicking from Pinterest to your website, to your blog. So you state the benefit in the text overlay, or you can use a video with a product demo, benefits like that. Those will help convert that better. You can use a CTA, a good call to action, in the pin and description. Optimize landing page that can be indexed, because Pinterest also reads the text on your landing page and sees that it matches your pin. That matters a lot. So if you're sending it to a well-optimized blog or a landing page, that will help your visibility. And you use the right pins for the right reasons, right? Rich pins for e-commerce, video pins for product demos, things like that. Also try and use the same image on Pinterest and the destination page to maintain consistency. But if you're making multiple pins, of course, you can use different images. Certain kinds of content do very well on Pinterest, like for instance, seasonal content, shopping content, gift guides, they do really well. Like if you're selling stuff for Halloween, fun things, activities for kids, crafting, artists, art, sculpture, all those things which are very visual, they do well on Pinterest. And in order to boost your pins and traffic, you should have your Pinterest save button on your website. If you have a WordPress blog, it's very easy to do that. Just use the add to any or the shareaholic button, the plugin, and you can, it will automatically help people save your Pinterest pins to share your Pinterest pins, repin them to Pinterest. Also create multiple pins for each piece of content that you create on your blog. Create multiple Pinterest boards around similar themes and topics, and repin each pin to at least 5 of your own boards. And then you can also share it, you can also join group boards where you can repin them. If you can, now this is a slightly gray hat method, okay? This is not exactly white hat, and so you have to use this method in moderation. Or participate in Pinterest repin and traffic threads, but be very careful about how you do this. Do this because I know people who have got banned who overdid it or did it in a way that Pinterest did not like, and their accounts got suspended. So you have to be very careful about using any gray hat methods, like repinning, participating in threads where people will pin your pins and you pin them, repin theirs in exchange. So you can increase your pins to your pin shares, especially if you're doing it for clients, right? You want to show them that you've got a lot of shares for them. So if you're doing that, then you can participate in these and increase their shares to a few thousand per article on your blog or whatever. So here this is how I create multiple pins for each piece of content, use different images, use different CTAs, use different keywords. And you can also use all these new Pinterest features that keep coming up, stories, lens. You can go and read about all these things on Pinterest itself. It has all the details. And there's a verified merchant program also that you can participate on. So if you want to learn more, you can go to blogbrands.com/tips Pinterest. You can learn more about Pinterest. You can find some Pinterest courses, free courses out there as well. And on Pinterest itself, they have a Pinterest Academy. This is the URL, so you can just screenshot that and go there, and you can learn more about Pinterest for free. So if you want to contact me, these are my emails. Please feel free to send me questions. I'll be happy to answer them. So that wraps it up, Avi. You have any questions? You can go ahead and ask them. Avi, do you want to?
Yes, absolutely. I'd like to moderate a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Thank you. So guys, before we move ahead.
What is point 3, Sucheta? What was it? because there were so many points now. I can't remember what is
Yes. So I'm going to ask people to give their Q&A in the. So guys, one by one, put your question and answers in the Q&A. We have some time for Q&A as well. But before we go into Q&A, I'd like all of you people to let us know what's that one big takeaway right now. What have you learned? Like, did you get a bulb on moment? Did you understand this? I can use this in my business. What was that one thing that you learned so far?
So a Pinterest board is basically like I would say, what would I call it? I don't know how to describe the board, but it's just a destination where you share your pin, right? And it's a keyword optimized destination where you can add your pin on Pinterest. You have to add your pin using a board. Let me show you that slide again, I think. Oh, I never knew how powerful it is. Okay. Yes. Pinterest boards are extremely good because people can follow once they follow your profile, they will end up following all your boards. They automatically follow all your boards and they will see your pins in their feed. You're welcome.
Yes. It's a visual search engine. I like that description. I think it's very apt because that's exactly what it is. It's a visual search engine.
Yeah, sorry. It's very good for coaches. Who is asking about the coaches thing? Yeah, you can, for coaching, if you have a coaching blog, you can actually add, snippets from your coaching videos on Pinterest, but make sure you add vertical videos, not horizontal videos. You can add snippets from your coaching videos. You can add your coaching blogs. You can, like I said, you can create multiple pins for one single piece of content, one single URL on your blog. Yes, long tail keywords will be good. Do your keyword research on Pinterest for Pinterest pins.
Yeah. Priya, if you can just stop sharing your screen, then we'll have you on the I want your picture on the screen so that people can. Yes. Okay. So guys, bring in your questions for Priya now.
Let me just shift this thing so that the light, I can't even put off the light. Okay. Anyway, that's the best you're going to get.
Okay. Sure. So bring in the questions, guys, in the Q&A.
Conversion rate is fantastic. Yeah, it's good. I managed to start getting a lot of traffic to my new blog with Pinterest. And that was in 2018. Of course, Pinterest was working better at that time. As these these sites grow, you're always going to have more competition. Yeah. In insurance, we have vertical images, copyrights by respective companies. Can it be edited? No, I would recommend you create your own images. Use Canva, right? Use Canva and create your own images. Don't use copyrighted images. If they are copyrighted by your companies, don't avoid using them. You can create pins, Canva pins, pins in Canva just in minutes. So I would say just use your own images. Getting a Pinterest accounts are free. There's no cost, but make sure that you create a business account and not a personal account, right? It's the same for like Facebook and Instagram. Create a business account so you can see the analytics, because in a personal account, you can't see your analytics.
Right.
Difference between Instagram and Pinterest, as you can see, Instagram, your content lifespan is only a few days maximum. Okay, but on Pinterest, it's months and years also. You get your content will be seen by people for months and years. For consultants also, I would like you can create content that does well on Pinterest. And there's a misconception that Pinterest is only for seasonal content. That's not true. Absolutely not true. I have got amazing results for all sorts of content. Okay, for health content, for for make money online, earn money content. We get amazing results from Pinterest. So it's not only for seasonal content or whatever. That does very well. Yes, you'll get a nice boost. Your pins will go viral during that time if you create that kind of thing. Like for instance, another thing that does very well on Pinterest is quotes. So if you have an article full of quotes, right? If you want to create quick traffic to your blog, write like 21 best quotes on Father's Day or on Mother's Day, things like that, and you'll get an instant burst of traffic, which may or may not last because it's a seasonal thing, but at least you'll start getting traffic. Keyword research on Pinterest. Use the Pinterest search bar at the top. for keyword research. They'll give you keyword suggestions. Put those keywords into your pin descriptions. Pinterest useful for builder business. What builder means? Real estate. See, if your real estate business is a local business, it might not get as much traction, because local businesses, I feel Facebook would be a better option, right? And Google My Business would be a better option. Okay, security for your account. You can use the verification. They have you can put your number in there and get security for your Pinterest account. I'm posting every day in Pinterest. I have not come across any leads so far. Yeah, you may not be targeting the right keywords, and your landing pages may not be optimized for conversion. So check that. Okay, if you're not getting any leads, optimize your landing pages for conversion and see that you're targeting the right audience also. Okay, crowdfunding. One second, what was that? Crowdfunding thing? Good place to drive crowdfunding. It depends. If you have some nice videos and stuff like that, it depends on what you're crowdfunding for. Are you crowdfunding for a new business, or you're crowdfunding for a product? Or products can do well. Product demos do very well on Pinterest. Cleaning products, yes, it's worth it, because women, there are lots of women on Pinterest, right? It depends on who you're selling your products to. Are you selling it to a local market, or is it available globally, or whatever? So you have to figure that out. Is it fine if you put our own images into the random images? I would say you can use your own images as well. You can use random images, means stock images, right? Always use royalty-free images. Canva, just use Canva. Canva is the best thing to, and Canva has all the Pinterest templates. So you can just use one of the Canva templates and create pins quickly. I'm in networking. What is networking? Can you just explain that? Is it network marketing? Please be ready for that. Yes, okay, thanks. Is it network marketing? I don't understand what that means. Priya, is there any reason why India is second in Pinterest being women dominated? Because the US is number one on Pinterest, because there are many more people online in the US than in India. And Pinterest, of course, there is a lot of English content, right? Now, of course, there is, you will see a lot of regional content also coming in with India growing, with the Indian market growing. How it can be used for healing and fitness. Write blog articles on healing and on your topic, and make sure they're well optimized. And also you can create infographics. Like for instance, if you're selling yoga, okay, you can create images with the yoga poses and all, like 6 yoga poses, things like that. Infographics do very well on Pinterest, but you should use them in different ways. For instance, if you put an infographic and you put all your information in the infographic so that they don't have to click through to the blog in order to get all the information they need, right? You put all the yoga poses in the infographic itself, then they don't feel the need to click through to the blog. They'll just share that. They'll just save that infographic to their Pinterest board, and they'll go and look at it, or they'll download it, or whatever, print it out. But if you want them to come to your website, you give them a teaser. Okay, give them a teaser in the image. Tell them for more poses or more yoga poses, click on this and come to the blog. So you have to know how to get them to click through. Aesthetic medicine coaching. Yes.
What we'll do is we will give your email address for people to frame their questions industry-wide and then send them to you.
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome. But this was good. Thank you very much, Priya, for your time.
Welcome.
And all of us people, can we all give a big thank you to Priya in the comment box for sharing her time and presentation with us?
I'm so happy that it benefited you. And please feel free to send me your questions. I'll answer them as best as I can.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Priya. Thank you for your time. Look forward to being in touch and see you soon.
Bye.